welcome. I'm Rosie.
And I'm Shorty.
And this is
Skate Sunday.
Thanks for joining us.
Hey.
We got a special guest?
We got a special guest today.
We got a special guest?
We got our friends Tuti Fruti.
Tuti Fruti.
Romina and Isa.
Yes, they're going to join us. I'm just like so excited to talk to them. You know, we just relived our awesome event.
Yeah, it was really cool doing the event with them. They designed the shirts. They're the ones you want to hit up for those shirts, so don't forget about it.
Yeah, and we're wearing their shirts. We're wearing their shirts. Tutti Frutti. Oh my god, I can't wait to talk to them.
Big thank you to our sponsor, Sunshine Skate. Don't forget to pick up them shirts at catchinglizards.net. As I keep saying, they are limited edition. They are printed by OE, by hand. It's made to order, so you better get your hands on them before they're gone.
How many times we gotta tell y'all?
I mean,
How many times we gotta tell y'all? Y'all better, as soon as you see the shirt you want,
yeah,
you gotta buy it. Don't come
to me being like, hey, I want that Florida is a feeling shirt. Like, do you got... No. I'm not.
If it's not there, it's not there. It was your fault.
You snooze, you lose.
You snooze, you lose. So make sure you go to catchinglizards.net for your t-shirt today. Big thank you to our sponsor, Brunny Hardcore. Brunny Hardcore is an independent skate company known for their slide blocks. I'm telling you, I want that pink block. It is so cute. They got blue. They got black.
That's a little pink get up you
red.
got on right now.
Brunny, send me one. I want one. Show me you love me. If you love me, send me a shorty slide box. Which one you want? They have black, they have pink, they have blue, and red.
I think blue.
Yeah, the blue. And really cute.
Mm-hmm. To match my blue skates.
Yeah. So if you want your slide blocks, they also came out with they have a collab with Chuff Skates for their wide trucks. They also have that. So go check out their website at brunnyhardcore.com. Get yourself some slide blocks, Band-Aids. I don't know. Why are you asking me? Just go to the website. Check it out.
Now.
At brunnyhardcore.com. You know where to go. The link to all of our sponsorships are in the description. We got Tuti Fruti in the house. So thank you so much for joining us. Why don't y'all go ahead and introduce yourselves, your name, handle, and your pronouns, and what kind of skating you do.
You start now.
Okay, I'm Romina. My pronouns are she, her. I started skateboarding in 2019, and I started roller skating this year. Yeah.
Okay, and I'm Isa, and my pronouns are she or they. And I started skateboarding in 2019 and took a bunch of breaks, and then really actually committed to it last year. And then I started roller skating in April, because how could I not when I'm surrounded by these two amazing people.
Aww.
Along with the other amazing people in Florida, that I'm like, I want to look like that. I want to do that. So I was convinced.
That's awesome. And you know, the feeling is mutual. We fell in love with you guys. Y'all are our skateboard buddies, but now our roller skating buddies too.
Yes.
We do it all.
And the progress so quickly is just...
Oh, no, yeah. You've been really, really, really
I try my
amazing.
best.
Oh, and well, we run Tuti Fruti.
Oh yeah, we run Tuti
which
Fruti.
is
Oh, yeah.
That
So tell us more about Tuti Fruti and what the type of work that you're doing with Tuti Fruti.
So how it started was that I was living in Chicago, and I had been living there for a couple of years because I was studying there. And then I graduated, and then I got into this relationship, and it was absolutely terrible. It was very emotionally abusive, and um, it lasted 6 months. And I went back to Florida for the holidays of 2020. So it wasn't just COVID that had hit, but I was also in an abusive relationship. And at that point, it was like, for me, COVID was like the least of my worries. Because for me, it was like I was trying to survive a whole other thing. And when I went back to Florida in the holidays, I was just kind of like, what am I doing with my life? Like, I can't be there anymore. At that point, that relationship had just ended, and so I went back to Chicago in January, and I basically packed my stuff and left and drove back to Florida. And Romina and I hadn't actually talked for a while, and then we started talking again and becoming friends again in January 2021. And then yeah, we became friends again. It's been quite a process. And I kind of just in Florida, I went back and retired. That's literally what I did. As a true Floridian, I stopped my whole life, and I just kind of dedicated my life to trying to process and heal from all the terrible things that had happened during those 6 months. And in the process of doing that, I started making these fingerboards, which you guys have some of those. And so I started hand making them and decorating them. And everything that I wrote on those skateboards, on those fingerboards, came from like books that I was reading, from therapy, from just like me trying to like cope through like the trauma. And so for me, they became kind of like these grounding phrases or positive affirmations that like allowed me to kind of like keep going. But then it got to the point that I made too many. I guess the trauma was that big. And so I had like 70 or so little boards around. And I was like, okay, what am I going to do with all of this? And then Romina and I had an existential crisis because we were like, what are we going to do with our lives? And then she booked a ticket to Athens, and I booked a ticket to Barcelona. And then July came, and she left to Athens, and I left to Barcelona. We were not supposed to travel together in Europe.
No.
But eventually we met up. She came to Barcelona after being in Athens. And like, it's weird because Tuti Fruti really kind of like started in Barcelona. And I would go and take pictures of people skating. And then when Romina came, like we decided to actually make this a thing. And then we just started traveling all throughout Europe. And, you know, I was supposed to come back in October, like early October. And I did not. I missed that flight back to America. And I ended up, like, we both ended up staying almost 5 months, 4 months.
It was 5 months.
5 months.
Oh, wow.
Like that we just travel around Europe, and we were able to also go to Turkey and Morocco, and it like really changed our lives. Like we feel so lucky to have done that and to have the possibility to do that, because we met so many amazing people. And as we traveled, I gave away all of the fingerboards. And so it's really cool to think about that the little fingerboards exist in so many countries.
That is so
That's
cute.
beautiful.
I'm obsessed. Well,
Yeah.
you know, I play the hell out of mine. Like on my desk, I enjoy the hell out of I like cubicle mates. I'm like,
I feel like, no joke, you are 100% the most talented person.
Yeah. She fucking it up.
Yeah.
And I am nowhere near as nice with it as she is. That's just like a fidget toy for me. But I'm just like
really,
at my
I feel
desk, like
so honored.
calming
oh
me.
man, you should hear me at my desk. I'm like, fuck. Are you like I'm trying to, and then it's just like, what's wrong, Rosie? I'm just like, Deborah, I'm trying to jump the Altoid.
I'm trying to do a kickflip. Just
Deborah, I'm trying to ollie.
I'm trying to do an ollie, Deborah. I'm trying to do an ollie.
Tomorrow is kickflip. Today is ollie. But yeah, no, it's been really cool. And then we came back to America and we were like, okay, you know, like we have the opportunity to now come to a place and make more of a community because we're not moving from country to country every week or so.
Mhm.
And you know, in doing that, we met you guys along with so many, and it's been absolutely wonderful because I mean, I feel like we met when, like in January?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it feels like I've known you guys for a long time, and it's just amazing. You know, it's such a cool feeling. I love you guys, and you guys like are so important to us. So it's so cool what skating does and the ways that it connects people. You know.
Oh, stop it. It's so cute. I can't like we can't go a second without being like, I love you.
I'm obsessed with you guys.
It's
I'm
true.
obsessed with you guys.
Yo, like what was it? Oh, I really want to know, how did the name come about?
Oh, okay. So the name was because the board, my first deck is was yellow. And actually shout out to Froskate because they gave me that deck and that was my first one, and
Aw.
so thankful. That's also the deck that, you know, took me through Europe, through all of those countries.
Yeah.
And my first kick flick, my first ollie, my first everything was on that. So thankful. But when I built it, when I got the other pieces, every piece was a different color. And when it was built, I remember thinking like, oh wow, this looks like a Tuti Frutti, because it's like, for those who don't know what Tuti Frutti is, it's just like a mixture of fruits. And so for me, it was like that, like it looked like a Tuti Frutti. So then I named my first board that. But then later when I was like looking into what the project would be named, I was like, okay, like I was between many things that I don't even remember what the other things
Yeah, I don't
were.
even remember either.
But the Tutti Frutti was perfect because I was like, okay, we're trying to like, you know, like we kind of like, we're like, what are we trying to do here? And it was really like, okay, we're trying to like reach out to people from all different backgrounds, all different identities, all different genders. And kind of like, well, what we do is like integrate that aspect of mental health into skating. And so for me, I was like, okay, well, let's do Tutti Frutti, because at the end of the day, it's like we're all a bunch of fruits out there.
I love that.
Us in our fruit boots.
Yeah. So it's like perfect. And it's like even more amazing because you guys you guys are Skate Sunday, and like this past event that we had, it was just like perfect. I was like, it was meant to be.
Yes, Tuti Frutti Skate Sunday.
Yes.
So you I love it. The shirt available. You can hit us up at Tuti Frutti or Skate Sunday for yours today.
Well, just to talk about the international trip a little bit. So what was the tour exactly like, you know, as you know, Tuti Frutti is an organization for the first time and we're on tour. Like what are we accomplishing on this tour?
Yeah, what y'all be doing?
Yeah.
What y'all doing out there?
This tour
or
the past tour?
Or the other
Past
one.
tours and this tour.
All of the tours.
All of the
very
tours.
different.
Yeah, they're super different.
Because the first tour was not really planned so much. We were kind of like figuring it out as we went along and kind of seeing like what made sense, what didn't make sense. A lot of what we were doing was trying to connect with different skate crews, and we would often just kind of like, depending on what was going on with different groups, we would kind of adjust our whole schedule to do like whatever made sense. So for example, like we were supposed to go to Brussels at one point.
Well, we were supposed to go to Brussels after Paris.
Yeah, like
Paris was the third place we went.
Yeah, so it was like very early on, we were supposed to go to Brussels to meet up with the skate crew called BXLs.
Which they're amazing. You should
awesome,
follow them. They're like, wow.
They're super
like
cool.
I see them as family.
Yeah. And when we kind of reached out to them, we were like, hey, we're going to be in Brussels. They were like, actually, we're going to be in Bosnia building a skate park. I don't know if you guys want to come, but you guys are welcome to come. And we were like, all right, let's go to Bosnia and go build a skate park. Because it was just like little things like that would just come up, that it was like, okay, let's just adjust everything and go do that. And then we'll kind of figure everything out after that. And the first one was really trying to like network with people, photograph as many people as we could, like talk to people about their experiences with skating. And then the mental health part just kind of ended up coming in naturally, I would say, because it just would come up, you know?
The reality too is that, you know, I think of Europe and, oh my God, like, it's like, we have so many friends there. You know, it's like, I think of our Instagram and the people we follow, and I like literally, it's like I have memories with like 99% of those followers, and we're talking about like hundreds of followers.
You mean
and
following? Or you mean
no, people
followers?
who follow us?
Oh, okay.
And who we follow too.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's really cool because the mental health aspect, like Romina said, it really came naturally just because of those friendships and the conversations that we would have, and you know, like us also sharing our lives and our experiences and being vulnerable, and people feeling comfortable to also open up and be vulnerable with us. So I think it was like that tour was like super different from this one, especially too because we went to Europe and I didn't know anybody. Like I literally just was there and I was like, okay, here I am. And like, you know, like at one point we would plan things and we just gave up. We were like, I don't know. I don't even know. I don't know where we're going to go tomorrow or the next week. And sometimes we would end up being in 3 different countries within 1 week. Sometimes we would come back to one of them. It was crazy. But
and then there was also the whole thing with like, Isa has her US passport. You're not allowed to be in the EU for more than 3 months. So also planning like, because we were there for 5 months. So obviously we had to leave the EU for 2 months.
Listen to why we went to
Turkey,
Istanbul.
Morocco.
We spent some time over there, and then we went to Morocco, and we had an amazing time.
And for example, Bosnia is now part of the EU. So that time we were like doing all that. And then
I have a question. So like language wise, how?
Yeah.
I would be like, if I'm not with someone that knows language, I'm not going. Like, how did y'all navigate that?
I mean, in Spain, it was Spanish. We speak Spanish. So
I was actually going to say that I think in Europe, a lot of people speak English. Like a lot.
I mean, a lot of people speak many languages.
Yeah, most people in Europe speak at least 3 languages.
Yeah, I was like, damn, I need to get my shit together.
Yeah, I was like, damn, I only speak 2, bro. Like, and I would say that the only place that I think was more, actually, I don't even know. No, we were always finding like people who could communicate, even if we had to gesture and things like that. It was
and when we went to Portugal, Portuguese, it's so similar to Spanish that we understood what was being said to us.
But these are also, I feel like they're countries that are used to a lot of tourists. For example, when we were in Paris, it's like obviously even if they didn't speak English, they're used to they're used to tourists being there, so they understand like, okay, you obviously don't speak French, you know, like it's fine. And then I
mean, we did find out though that apparently I have a terrible ear for languages.
Yeah, because everywhere we would go, people would teach us words and stuff.
And I would try to say them.
And they would be like, no.
And then it appears that the only language that I may have hope for is Arabic.
Yeah, everything, because every like sound she makes like, and they're like, why are you trying to speak Arabic? Like, that's not the sound you're supposed to be making.
That's really interesting.
I'm doing what you're doing. Yeah. And Romina's like, no, you're not.
Yeah, and I ended up I feel like I learned that I actually have like a really good ear for it, where everyone would always be like, oh, great. Yeah, that's great. And I would be like, okay, cool.
Like, I'm lucky I'm bilingual.
Yeah.
And even then I still have an accent, and I've been in America for like over half of my life.
And you don't even really hear your accent that much.
Don't you dare change that accent.
Yeah. I could listen to you say Tuti Fruti like forever. Like I just want to keep like it on replay. Tuti Fruti, like the way you say it, like it's just so beautiful.
I don't even hear it, so I can't even change it, but it's okay. I'm not trying to change it. It's all right.
So before y'all go into your US tour, because I want to know like what y'all got planned, like what's the big plans coming up in the US tour. I just have a question, like was it and being in Europe, was it a little bit easier that you had that like commonality of like skating, when you met up with different skaters? Did it make it a less nerve-wracking? Because you know where to go. You're like, skate park, this is church.
Exactly. And you're already going to find friends there. You're already going to find people who, whether even if they don't speak your language, they all speak kind of the skating language.
Right.
What's interesting too is because skateboarding was like originated from the United States, a lot of the skateboarding terminology in all languages is the same.
Right.
So an ollie is an ollie no matter where you are.
Yeah, a kickflip
is a kickflip.
That shove it is a
oh my god, an ollie is a universal language.
They'd be like, ollie! And then,
That's so cool.
So that made it, I think, really good too.
And I think also like because it was skating, our decisions were based on skating.
Mm-hmm.
Our days, our itinerary, for example, would be like, of course we were doing touristy stuff, I mean, it's like, what, I'm gonna go to Paris and not go to the Eiffel Tower. It's like
Leaning Tower of Pisa next, just with your photos.
Yeah, you got it.
We did sacrifice the Louvre. We were like, it's
too expensive. Although, just a little quick side story. We met up in Paris with two of my very, very good friends, and they were kind of doing their thing. They were doing more touristy stuff, and we were doing like a little bit of our skating stuff. They bought tickets to the Louvre, and they went to the Louvre, and they went to there's a little cafe at the Louvre. They sat down. My friends are they like to splurge a little when they travel, so they went to the Louvre cafe. They start drinking champagne. They're like doing this whole thing. And time passes, and bro, they stay there, and the museum closed, and they didn't get to see anything. And they just stayed at the Louvre cafe drinking champagne the whole time, and paid like $50 for it.
Go to the Louvre. Don't even go to the Louvre.
Don't even bother. Just go to the cafe.
What a flex!
Honestly, like
right.
I went to the Louvre.
We didn't even bother.
We got to travel through so many countries, and I have so many memories of, for example, okay, like in that skate park, I learned how to do that, and there was this person from this country who like taught me how to do this little thing, or they like helped me in this way, and it made it better, or like all of these little things that like we have in South Florida too, but here is so in internationally, which I mean, it's the same thing. It's just like in another country. But going back to what you were saying, it was like skating facilitated so much of that process of really getting to know people, because you're there, you teach somebody something, or they teach you something, and then you end up talking, and then you end up being friends, and then they're like, oh, we should go hang out, or like I'm going here, you guys want to come, and then suddenly you have like 20 friends. So 100% skating, it's like this glue that just
it's international, baby. It's international.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dale.
Y'all sorry, I didn't mean to yell. Y'all were Mr. Worldwide over there.
Like literally Mr. 305.
Mr. Worlds. Days worlds wides. Them worldwides. So tell us about your US tour. Like what do y'all have planned coming up?
Okay, so the US tour, we started planning it kind of like earlier in the year. We were thinking about this idea of like, okay, we have all this stuff with mental health, really like talking about it. We were hosting these events in South Florida, and we were really enjoying it, and we felt like people were really enjoying it, and we kind of felt like, okay, we could do what we did in Europe in the United States, but start just hosting events, like, and so instead of just going and meeting people, messaging people, because we're already like established, like where we can go message other crews, we can meet up with them, we can ask them if they want to collaborate on an event, like things like that. And I feel like when we went to California, right, in February,
yes, The Cali trip.
The Cali trip. That was like a little, I think that was like a little test for us, where it was like, let's see if we can meet up with these skate crews, if it'll kind of work, if it feels like it makes sense. And we met up with Board to Tears and Wake and Skate. We ended up meeting the Fruit Bowl also. And was there anyone else? Oh, Shred Cycle. So
I mean, yeah, we met unbelievable people.
Yeah, and it was like immediately it just felt like it really worked, right? And this was one where we were kind of having a loose structure of the event, where it was like, let's just meet up and skate. And we were like, this is really good, this really works, we should definitely do this, but more structured. So what we did is we kind of had like a list of cities, and we're collaborating with like a skate crew, at least one skate crew in each city, and then bringing in mental health organizations from the city too, to kind of like, we have like a free skate session and everything, but then there's also kind of someone there with resources for like, if you are thinking about getting mental health help, here's a resource in your area that can help you find that. A lot of the places are geared towards like LGBT people or people of color and things like that, people who have less access or less likely to receive mental health help. So we kind of have this structure of like, okay, we want to, and we also have been collecting donations from sponsors. And so, to give away things at the events too, where people can kind of walk away with the opportunity to get something new or something they need. And we've really only done Chicago.
Well, yeah, I mean, we just literally started it this month. July 19th was our first
meetup. Yeah.
In Chicago with Fro Skate, and
our next meetup is coming up
in July
31st. So that's this weekend.
Where are you now?
We're in Pennsylvania. We're stuck in Pennsylvania right now. Yeah. We just tested negative.
Ain't nothing wrong with PA.
Why are you stuck? What do you mean stuck?
No, it's just we went camping for a couple of days. And then one of our friends in Chicago tested positive for COVID. So Romina then took a test.
And I tested positive.
She tested positive.
So we hunkered down.
Yeah, we're in the capital of Pennsylvania.
We're in Harrisburg.
I didn't know that was the capital. We travel.
Yeah. And we just tested negative today. So
yeah, we're COVID free. Thank the Lord in this.
Yeah, glad to hear you're better.
Yeah. No. So I mean, we didn't feel sick at all.
Yeah, we were asymptomatic. We literally were fine. I mean, we were camping, we were chilling.
Right.
We were fine. So, but now we're good. And we're probably gonna keep heading out, and then Boston. We're gonna be in Boston for a few days.
And then we're going to Philly, like Philadelphia, and then New York.
Yes.
And we're trying to figure out the other two places.
Yeah, because after that, we're kind of like so I think we did take a little bit from the Europe tour, in that like we were like, okay, well, we can't plan everything because shit happens. And I mean, obviously we did not plan to get stranded in Pennsylvania for like days, and which was actually like a nice thing, because we got to catch up on a lot of work actually,
because we hadn't been able to.
But so we have like certain cities like definitely plan, other cities that I think we're just going to kind of throw in depending on how we feel, or whether it feels like, oh, we should totally go there, or like we have time, or at the end, I know we want to stop in Atlanta and Tallahassee, because Tallahassee just got a new skate park.
Come back home. You come back home.
Come back home. Tallahassee just built a new skate park, and it's looking amazing. And we met at FSU. We have tons of friends still in Tallahassee, so we definitely want to stop in there and kind of skate it, like skate. I never actually got to skate Tallahassee.
I did skate.
You did, but I didn't.
I started skating with a penny board, and I would just like
cruise.
Yeah, just so that was my mode of transportation to class. I was like that person on campus, almost running everybody over. My apologies. For me, it was
I'm
super
dying
fun
to have that experience of almost running everybody over, because FSU is a great campus, and
it's a beautiful campus,
I would love to skate it. So just getting to do that, and meeting up with some people, because I think we'd like to have an event in Tallahassee in the future that is like very established, but we need we want to kind of network first and kind of figure everything out before we do that.
That's really exciting. And we're excited for you to come back.
Yeah, of course.
Oh my gosh,
I miss the Florida weather.
I wanted to ask though, why specifically in the skating community is mental health awareness important and something that, you know, needs to be addressed within our community so directly?
I mean, I think like Romina can answer her own answer, but like for me, I think mental health is just important everywhere. It doesn't have to be skating. It just so happens that like for us, skating has been like that bridge. At least for me, it has like really allowed me to use it as an outlet, and connect, and it has allowed me to connect to myself in a way that like the things that I'm also doing outside of skating are facilitated by the what entitles to skate and to have a community that supports you. And I think that's what it really comes down to, you know, like I think a lot of people, you know, kind of think of I feel we've all read things that say like, oh, skating is my therapy. And I agree that to some extent it's like a type of
tool.
outlet.
Yeah.
I would disagree though that it's a type of therapy, because
therapy needs to be facilitated by a professional.
And not just that, but I think also I think when you allow yourself to actually do therapy, there is so much self-reflection that not that doesn't happen in skating, but I feel like it's different. You know, with therapy, it's not, a lot of people think that you go and talk to a therapist and you walk out and that's it. And it really isn't just that. Like, you know, you have to do your homework. You have to like get out of that room, that safe space that you have with your therapist, and take what you just talked about, and take it with you. You know, it's not for you to just leave it in that room and then come back the next week and just, okay, yeah, I guess let's pick up from where we left, you know. And I think sometimes it seems like a lot of people that I know, that's how they have handled therapy, or they think of therapy as such. But it's really like a missed opportunity, because, you know, it's really just kind of like going to school. Like you don't go to school and just go to class and then you're like, I'm out, and then you don't practice. You know, you have to take those things and practice it and put it into your life, in your daily life. And I think that's what's difficult, that you have to, at the end of the day, like every day, choose to do those things and be persistent, even if it means that like sometimes you're exhausted, and, you know, like sometimes like the best you can do is just like the bare minimum, but like some days that's the best you can do, and that's already enough. And I think, you know, like I was saying, like I think the mental health aspect is important in all aspects of our lives, whether it's in skating or not. It just so happens that I think too, in skating, you have the opportunity to build this community, this support that really, you know, like when you're struggling in whatever ways that you may be struggling, and you're surrounded by people who are supportive, who are compassionate, who also have their own problems, but like you see them as an inspiration to keep going. You see them as an inspiration to in some way guide you. It really changes your life, because you're not alone. And not just like emotionally, but then in skating is that same process that we are constantly learning from each other. There, you know, it's so rare that you are kind of like my coach. I mean, you guys are my coaches. You know, I've already told you guys this. But like a little coach, you know, like I think it's very easy to say that in other sports, like, oh, like I have like I coach in you know, in soccer or tennis or whatever it is. But in skating, it really comes down to that community, and to you know, it's really about your friends and who you are with at the skate park. And they teach you everything. And And then if you allow yourself to be vulnerable and throw yourself and learn something, then you get to teach that to somebody else. And I think that's really what life is about, because it just really translates so well. But yeah, I don't know, you can fill in everything else.
I think that for example, like I think I have noticed that idea of like when people talk about like skating being a type of therapy. And I think part of why I struggle with that is because I've been in therapy since I was 13. I think I'm 23 now. So it's 10 years of therapy.
You're 23? No,
I'm
you're
24.
I won't tell nobody.
I'm 11 years into therapy. I'm 11 years old. And I've been to so many different types of therapy. And I think part of why I struggle with this idea of skating being therapy is because, and I don't want this to come off wrong, but therapy is not fun. It's not a fun thing. You're not like, it's not like skating where, you're having a blast. Sure, sometimes skating is hard. Sometimes you get frustrated. The reality is like therapy is mostly very difficult. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of maintenance. It's like, I don't have fun when I brush my teeth, so I'm not going to have fun when I'm doing the hygiene that I need to do of my mind. It's difficult. It's painful. It's uncomfortable, and if you do it right, it helps a lot and it makes your life quality better. But the process of therapy is very, very difficult. And that's why a lot of people, I think, don't want to do it. And when they start going to therapy, they struggle to really keep up with it because it's so painful, especially if you have childhood trauma or things that feel so huge, that, it's just so painful that it's just really hard to confront it in that moment if you're not ready, And that's why I think like skating is an amazing coping mechanism. It's a great tool to learn about yourself, to learn about others, to learn how to ask for help, how to admit when you feel afraid, how to fall in a literal way, but also in an emotional way, how to fail, how to reframe your idea of what success looks like. It has all these amazing tools to teach you how to be basically like a better person outside of the skate park, right?
But it's not just like a better person.
You're killing me right now. You're killing me.
Yeah, I'm just mind blown.
Exposed. I feel exposed.
Well, it's just like at the same time, like you're learning all of these things for yourself, but by improving who you are,
you inspire everybody else around you.
Well, not just that, but then you're able to be a better friend to those around you, and like a better I don't know, I guess like with your parents, you can your relationships around you, not just with yourself, completely change. So
you start leading by example in a lot of ways, and that's where I think like the reason I think that mental health works with this so much is it's skating, I think, just opens a door to being able to talk about these things in a way that just makes sense. It just adds up, like skating reflects, it's such a metaphorical way. It reflects so much of what the healing process looks like, of what growth looks like. The difference is that when it comes to things like therapy, which you're usually trying to work on, really particular things, the most difficult things that affect you, it's just a lot. It's just hard, it's a lot. And at least skating, you can have a ton of fun, and you might get frustrated, but, you learn and you grow. And I think that's really like a great motivator to explaining like skating progress can feel slow, but internal emotional progress feels eternal.
And it's like a lifelong thing.
It is. And that's the thing too, is as someone who, for example, I've been in therapy for 11 years, there are moments where I tell my therapist, I'm like, am I going to have to do this forever? Like for my whole life, not go to therapy, but do the things that I have to do. And she's like, yes. She's like, yeah, you do. You're going to have to for the rest of your life. There are things that are going to come up, things that bother you, more trauma, more grief. People are going to die as you get older. Like things are going to happen that you could never expect. Yes, this is the work you're going to have to do for the rest of your life. But don't think about that right now.
Yeah, because I was going to say, like, how when you're so deep into this work and helping others, get access to these resources and helping them get therapy, like how do you help yourself like in that, like how do you make space for yourself while doing this work?
I mean, I think, to be honest, it's like difficult. It's and it's not even like because we are doing this. I think I think existing is just difficult.
Mhm.
And we underestimate how difficult it is to just go through your days in like a healthy way.
Yeah, because it's easy to kind of do things unhealthy, you know, like it's easy to kind of mess around, not really pay attention to anything, not care how you treat people, you know, not care about how things affect others or how they affect you.
But that's exhausting.
I mean, it's exhausting, but a lot of people think it's easier.
It is definitely easier, but it's exhausting. And not to say that the other way isn't exhausting. It is exhausting. It just so happens that at the end of the day, you can go to sleep and feel okay.
And you feel fulfilled. Relief. Yeah. And then I think that also when you are actually doing the work, you have like sometimes there's like kind of, when we talk about like in neuroscience, when things with trauma occur, the way that it affects your brain is like when you dissociate and you kind of block everything out, you don't just block out the bad things, you block out everything. You block out the good feelings too. So people who struggle with trauma and dissociation, it's not just that they can't identify with their sad feelings, they can't identify with their happy feelings either. They don't truly feel happy, they don't truly feel, you know, excited.
Like they know that
they should. Yeah, they know that they're supposed to, and they know what it might look like to behave that way or to interpret it to other people. But at the end of the day, if they were to really sincerely like open their hearts to feeling sad, they would realize, oh, this is what being happy actually feels like, you know, because you can only reach that depth by letting yourself feel everything. Feeling the worst of the worst is what lets you feel happy, you know? And so I feel like part of how I feel like we try to work on is, well, we go to therapy, you know, and we do our homework and we read a lot too. And, you know,
I think we honestly, something that I think in the last couple years, I've really learned to do is to reach out. And I think I feel comfortable doing that because I trust the people around me. I trust that like they can be there for me. And that doesn't necessarily mean that they have to be there for me in every way, but that they can be there in some way, even if it's just to listen, even if it's just to like tell me I love you, you know? And I think sometimes we get fixated on this idea that there is one solution, like a singular solution or one person,
which even then it's like
change.
Therapy by itself is not enough. Never. It's never enough, you know. Like
it's like you need such a diverse support system that can really,
you need like a full toolbox,
right?
And so therapy,
a diaspora. No, I'm just kidding. I don't think that's
no, but it's like, you know, you ask about like how we deal with it, and the reality is like there has been moments that have been incredibly difficult, even when we were doing,
I would say a lot of moments. I would say it's a huge amount of
like when
moments.
We meet people and we talk to them and, you know, they ask us like what we've done and we tell them and they're like, wow, you guys are literally living the dream. And I think we absolutely are. Like, I feel incredibly lucky to be able to travel in the ways that we have been able to. And to even just do what we do full time. At the same time, it's not true that it has just been perfect. You know, there were many moments that when we were doing the European tour that we kind of sat down and, you know, like Romina and I were working in our friendship. It was very complicated. And like, there were moments that we really just sat down and we kind of were like, is this what we need to do? Like, should we continue doing this? Like, you know, it like things that like at times Romina was like, well, maybe I should just go back to Barcelona. Like, maybe we should just we shouldn't do this at all. You know, and I mean, thank God we didn't stop. and so I think, you know, and even now there are still moments.
Yeah, I was gonna say this tour just started and we have been having some really difficult personal issues, and we have really had some moments where we're like, do we do this tour? Do we stop it? Do we postpone it? And as of right now, we're not. You know, no,
I mean, we're pushing forward, but I think
the reality is like
that we take care of ourselves, that, you know, like we don't allow the times that we feel overwhelmed emotionally to like take over and just make decisions in our lives when we can be like, okay, like, you know, like maybe I just need some space, you know, like, okay, I'm gonna talk to my therapist about this, I need to do this, you know, like, and I think that communication is really what has saved a lot of what we do, and not to say like
I feel like also I was gonna say like I feel like something that helps us take care of ourselves also is just having each other, that we're not in this alone, you know. Right. That it's like, you know,
God, I keep trying not to cry. I still
every 5 seconds. I can't do an interview with y'all. You know,
but and also that we have everybody, you know, like that we have you guys, and that we have.
I'll never forgive you for leaving.
But listen, like, you know,
I got separation anxiety. Okay, I gotta go to therapy to work it out.
No, but the truth is that, you know, we in May, we made, or like I made a statement on the Tuti Fruti Instagram, and that has really shifted a lot of things, because it was, you know, me finally coming out and really like explaining what had happened in 2020 in this relationship that I was in. And it's not like I went into detail or anything. It was just kind of like, you know, me being like, this is why Tuti Fruti exists. And
but it has caused
a lot.
Some, you know, retaliation.
There has been some retaliation. It has caused threats, not just you know, to me, but like to friends who have shown support. And that's a lot of stress. It's a lot of things coming up for me, especially when it's about something that was so traumatizing for me, and that I'm still like, I mean, I'm so much better emotionally, but there are things that still trigger me, and I'm still trying to work on those things.
And even thinking about the fact that it's like, for example, like before I met Isa, I was also in an abusive relationship. So there are things that trigger me still too, you know, and then these kind of navigating these things of like, this is about, you know, like for me, right, I'm like, this is about Isa, you know, like this is her experience, this is her thing. But when it affects, like when my triggers and my experience starts coming up, it does have to be that moment of like, okay, like I need to take care of myself. I understand this is about you, but there are things that are coming up for me, and I need to make sure that I pay attention to that, and I need to make sure that I'm working with my therapist on those things, and, you know, like working with myself on those things.
And the thing is, like, you know, I think like I feel very lucky that we had the opportunity to start the tour in Chicago, because all of the things that have come up because of the statement that was made, even though it's like so ironic, because even though what happened to me in Chicago, and I went to Chicago feeling like scared.
Yeah, I was gonna say you felt afraid. Yeah,
right, because of the whole situation, and I left feeling amazing. I left like I can't wait to go back. I can't, like, I miss it. I miss my friends. You know, the fact that I was able to see my friends again, friends that I hadn't even seen before COVID, and like just experience this city again in the way that I had experienced it before all of that happened to me. And so to me, it was an amazing opportunity, because it's like I finally was able to change that narrative and change those memories. And not that those memories don't exist anymore, they do, but they've been in a way replaced with new friendships, new memories, new experiences. And I remember like with one of the people from Froskate, well, not one of them, several of the people who run Froskate, having conversations with them and telling them, you know, like, I don't know if I would be able, if I had been able to push through the things that I had to push through in this past month, if it wasn't because of them, of their presence.
They were, man, everyone in Chicago was just gunning for Issa. It was
Yeah,
awesome. It was
like-
awesome. And as a survivor of myself, who I never got the chance to share my experience with anybody. I never got to say what had happened to me to anybody who knew my abuser. My abuser actually died. And, you know, so it was like, not only did I never get to say anything, but after he died, everyone idolized him. It was like, he's an angel. He was a perfect person. This thing of like, you know, that I never got the experience of having any support like that. My friends, obviously my friends and family supported me, but to see people with the way that they were with Issa, people who had just met her, people who hadn't even met her, who were gunning for her, who were there being like, I believe you and I'm here for you. And like this thing of like, as a survivor for me, it was incredible. And it made me feel so good, you know?
Yeah, I mean,
because
it's
I
like,
never got that experience. And most people don't. That's the
still-
reality. Most people don't.
I still can't believe
Absolutely.
it. Like, and it's like, wow, like I feel so grateful for all of them. And I know I tell them that all the time, but I don't think they understand. Like,
It's the same with like, feel like with you guys. It's like,
Yeah.
we try to express it, but I don't know that anyone can truly know.
I can see it on your face, you
Yes.
know, like I could see the healing like radiate from you, you know,
Yeah.
it's clear. So
Yeah.
it's beautiful. You two are beautiful.
Yeah, I think it's just especially beautiful, Romina, the way that you support Issa. Like,
Mhm.
oh, I can't even look at y'all. Y'all go ahead and cry. I can't even look at y'all. Y'all have beautiful energy, and you know you have to. I love that you share it with everyone, and you also protect it as well,
Mhm.
which is important because
Careful balance.
yeah, you never know who you're giving that to, and you
Right.
know. You don't need to be adding more therapy on top of what you're going through.
Yeah.
but I mean, it's like, it's funny because, you know, we feel the same way about you guys. It's like, I see you guys and I just want to like,
No cute aggression. Like where
Yeah,
you
just like,
I welcome it.
I want to squeeze your fucking cheeks. You're so fucking cute. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Why are we like this? Why are we like this? Like, why are we like this?
Aggressive with the love.
It's like when you know, you know. It's when you know, you know.
Yeah.
It's when you
I
know.
think what it really comes down to too is like, we are not afraid to be ourselves, to admit that things aren't easy, that life is hard, that we struggle. And I think people just appreciate that, you know? I think at the end of the day, doesn't everyone just want to feel seen, supported, loved, you know? Like, isn't that what anyone wants? And so when you kind of show yourself to someone and they feel safe showing themselves to you and you're able to accept them and kind of have that reciprocity of, I see you, I hear you, I accept you, I love you. I mean, I don't think there's anything that can replace that, you know? And for me, it kind of, even from the beginning of the project, I never doubted what we were doing because for me, it was like, there's no way for us to not win when we're so sincere, you know?
Oh, that's beautiful.
It's true.
It is true.
And thank you for bringing that to the community because, you know, it's one thing to be like, you know, we're all in this together, all that, but like to actually speak on a deep level when it comes to issues like this, it's important for people to have that just a safe space to bring it. You know, not everybody is just like, hey, you can bring that here, you know?
And the reality is like, in the United States, by the time that you are 30 years old, I believe, I think the statistic is by the time you're 30 years old, you will have experienced a traumatic experience.
well, the thing too is that a lot of people conflate a traumatic experience with, you know, like they're just kind of like, oh, you have to go to war or you have to like literally witness somebody dying
or
and-
sexual assault
right,
or these like really big things.
and
that
they
it's
don't
like-
realize that even just the act of moving from one place to another is considered one
Yeah.
of the like 5 or
Mhm.
Yeah,
thing,
it's
like-
one of the 5 most traumatic, like most commonly cited traumatic experiences, moving
Right.
to a new place.
right. And so
Because
it's
people
like,
don't realize that trauma is defined not by what it is, but how it impacts you. So trauma is just something that stays with you for a very long time, and it affects everything for a long time, regardless of what it is. So, for example, bullying can be a trauma for people if it affects them well into adulthood, well past it's over. There
Well,
are people who get bullied and it's not like it doesn't affect them, but once they've reached adulthood, it doesn't affect them as
but
much.
it's also like some people think that trauma has to be like a long lasting event and
it can be one night, it could be one thing.
yeah, it could literally be like
10 minutes of your life, and those 10 minutes now define the way that you live your life for the rest of your life. And so, you know, it's kind of this.
I think also what I was going to say is I think people also get confused because they think if you have trauma, you have to have PTSD. And that is not true, because trauma does not have to coexist with PTSD. PTSD just means that you have trauma that is significantly affecting your life for longer than 6 months. That's what it is. Longer than 6 months after the event occurs, like by medical standards, right? So it's like, at the end of the day, you can be traumatized. You can be very traumatized. And it doesn't mean that it's affecting your daily life enough for it to be PTSD, and you still have trauma and you still have to deal with it.
And it's really up to you if you want to like work on it. And it's not like you're going to like forget about it, but you learn how to cope with it in a healthy way, that it doesn't have to, like, your life doesn't have to be dictated by how this trauma makes you feel or react, or you know, like whatever it is. But the one thing that I was going to say too is that, you know, we are able to be ourselves because of people like you guys. And
Stop it.
You don't get
Stop it.
Get
Get the
fucking
hell
stop
off my
it right
screen
now.
right
Get
now.
off right now. Listen, so what are some resources that y'all have learned that you could shout out really quick for either, you know, that could help people with mental health that you've maybe learned, or if there are any?
Yeah. Well, I really recommend looking into local organizations for mental health. It really depends on your situation, but I know, for example, if you've been abused, there are very often domestic violence kind of resources. And it's important to know that just because that if you've been abused in any way, you qualify for domestic violence assistance, regardless of whether or not you lived with that person, whether or not you considered that abuse, or whether or not you even realize it's abuse.
I'm actually, my therapy currently is with a domestic
shelter.
Yeah. And it's free.
Yeah.
It's been amazing.
The problem, unfortunately, is like, I recommend looking into these things, but the reality is it's like getting to that point where you're seeing that therapist takes a long time. It always does. So I really recommend more things like, I really recommend Open Path. It's a kind of a resource for people to find low cost therapy. You pay like a one-time membership fee, and then they connect you to like a network of therapists like all around the United States who offer you like a special fee. So it'll be anywhere, I think, from $30 to $60 a session, depending on your needs. And they take insurance, and they also do people without insurance as well. So that's like a really good one. In terms of free therapy, the reality is it's just not super accessible.
I mean, group therapy
is great. Really counseling is always something that is available. Counseling is free. It's not therapy. Counselors get trained differently than therapists. They're usually not trained in the same way. So counselors are more like, they kind of help you mediate for a little bit before you get to like a therapist. I also feel like I recommend, looking into books. It's little things that can help you. But at the end of the day, like, I think that if you have the means to pay at least even like $30 to $60, even twice a month, I think it's worth it if you really feel like you need it,
And you can always talk to those, therapy. What is it like? Like, you can talk to therapists and see if they scale it down.
Yeah, sometimes there's sliding scale therapists. So depending on your budget, they will actually like work with you. And I think Open Path also offers some sliding scale therapy as well.
But outside of therapy, I mean, there's so many things that you can do. Yeah. Like journaling is really important.
Journaling, reading,
just
watching.
Even like learning to identify your feelings and writing them down. Or like even when you feel upset or frustrated or...
Oh, I'm so sorry. What I really recommend is Netflix has the Headspace Guide to Meditation. Is awesome. It's a great introduction to meditation. They guide you very, very well. They teach you different kinds of meditation. The visuals are super cute. And it's just a great way to kind of start learning about like what meditation is and how it helps. I am a huge proponent of meditation.
How your thoughts, like the interactions that you have with your thoughts and how you can learn to to have a relationship with them, as opposed to like see them as enemies, and more like a relationship.
Yeah, more accepting.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And always reach out to your friends, reach out to your
Yes.
loved ones. Let them be there for you. You know, let yourself be there for them. Let them see you for who you are, even if you're in pain. You know, I think that people feel afraid to show their pain because they're afraid that it pushes people away, but it always brings them closer to you.
Well, we can't thank y'all enough for joining us. You know, hurry up and come back. But I hope you have a great time on your tour. Please shout out your handles. So if people want to invite you to their city, you know, maybe they
Yes. Our handle is tutifruti.skate. Tuti Fruti, we stylize it with one T. So it's TUTI dot skate.
Skate with an 8.
And all our links and everything are on our bio. You can check out our GoFundMe, look at our we have a PayPal if you want to donate. We sell merch on our website, like the things that they're wearing right now. So if you want to support our tour and help us out, you know, that always means a lot. But obviously following, sharing our story, you know, even sending us a DM if you just feel like you want to talk, means a lot to us always.
Yes.
And thank you guys so much for
Thank
inviting us.
Thank you. We
Thank
love
you.
y'all.
Love you guys so much. I
love you
miss you
guys.
so much.
Miss you too. Get back soon and safe. Take
Yes.
care of yourselves.
Love you
Thank
guys.
you. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Wow, what a pleasure it was to talk to them and get to know, you know, more about their tour and what they do. You know, we really love them, so y'all definitely go follow them. But we want to do a little segment before we head out. Y'all ready? It's been a minute.
It has been a minute.
What we doing, Shorty? What we doing?
Nothing crazy. Just what have you been working on lately, skate wise?
What you working on?
I saw you had, you know, taken apart your skates and put them back together like 14 times in the last.
Okay. All right. So I finally figured out my boots situation. I was out of commission for a minute, but I got my skate park set up back. I'm riding on the Blackjacks with the Chuff Skates, X Brunny Hardcore wide trucks. Julie gave me her Wild Bone sliders.
Oh, shout out, Julie.
Just gave them to me because my CIBs won't fit on my plate on my
Wait,
T1
why?
plate. They're too big. They're too big. And it's crazy because I just assumed because the other plate that they were on the Neo Reactor Pros. I thought like same size foot, same size block, same size plate, but that was not the case. But yeah, I'm back on my grind. I'm working on I'm stalling, you know, different types of stalls. 2-footed stalls are just like so difficult. I don't know why, but they're just, I'm more scared of going back. That's what it is. Like, I don't mind getting on. I'm scared of like going fakey into the ramp again. Because I'm just scared of that speed because I fell that one time and I'm scared now.
It's okay. You're going to fall again.
Yeah.
You just got to be ready and
So
stable.
yeah, you know, bend them knees, you know, body positioning. And just do it. So I've just been doing different stalls. Like, I really want to get my 2-footed stall and not be scared to go fakey, but I've also been doing my Marilyn Monroe.
Oh, Marilyn.
Marilyn Monroe. My Rosie Monroe. And you know, the other day I did a box stall. Did you see?
I did.
That was like, you know, little box stall. And just different footies. Different types of footies. So yeah, that's what I'm working on.
Very nice. I see you. I see the progress. I'm glad your skates are put together. I know it was a lot. You're like, I took them apart. I don't know what to do. I'm just gonna.
Yeah, I didn't think that I find myself in that situation, but I played myself. I didn't think I would find myself in a situation where parts of my skates weren't compatible, but it happens to the best of us.
Hey, it's trial and error.
Yeah. What about you? What you working on?
So I have pivot cups in my skates, as we remember. I just didn't have them.
Okay, pivot cup.
They were just torn apart, and I was just like, they're fine. They're working. It's good.
Yeah.
But anyway, now I have all this stability and going super fast on the mini ramps. But I was working on half cabs with Julie.
Yes.
Kind of got it. A little scary. That's scary.
You're scary, but you're scary shorty though.
But yeah, I haven't really been back much. But I did hit the pump track down south.
Yes, you did.
There's a pump track, the Hollover Beach pump track, and holy moly, that is a workout.
What do you think? Is it like beginner friendly at all?
Yeah, I think so. And also, if it's just like too much for you, there is a tiny little skate park on the other side that you can mess around with. But it's definitely good to practice pumping in your stance and like not skating up. You really have to pump the whole time.
Like you got no choice but to be in the right body position.
Yeah, and then once you just figure it out, it's just kind of riding it. But I was really tired after our little Hollywood skate the day before, so
Hollywood.
I didn't go as hard.
Hollywood hot girl.
Hollywood.
Hollywood. You know, we actually are the local tour guides here in Hollywood Beach. So if you're visiting, you know, Florida and no, I'm just kidding. You can pay us and we'll like take you around Hollywood like hotties. No, I'm kidding. You know, we were making it hot girl summer.
It was hot girl summer.
Yeah, we were on our lizard shit. On our lizard brain shit, you know.
Yeah.
Florida's just such a beautiful place to skate. I feel so lucky to be here.
I know, there's just so many options. I mean, you got to drive to see them, but
yeah.
That pump track was cool. I can't wait to go back when I'm less beat up.
Yeah. So we want to know, what are y'all working on?
Leave in the comments what you're working on.
Yeah, what are you
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, let's talk about it. Tell me what you're doing. We want to know. If you'd like to know a way to support the show, we have a Patreon.
Sign up, become a patron of Skate Sundae. We have several tiers. You get merch. You get shout-outs. Merch,
stickers. We got everything. Go check out all the different levels. You can also make a custom level and donate what you can. If you don't want to, you could just donate. But go check it out. The link is in our link tree in our bio on Instagram at Skate Sundae.
Support the show, please.
Please. Thank you so much for watching. That's all the time we have for today. If you're looking for me, you can find me on Instagram at Rolling with Rosie.
And if you're looking for me, you can find me at Hey Shorty with 3 Y's and 2 underscores.
And if you're looking for us, you can find us at
Skate Sundae.
Thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye.